Where are we going?
Dunkirk!
Christopher Nolan's World War II epic Dunkirk lands in theaters on July 21st, and when it does, you'll be able to choose from hundreds of theaters and a total of 6 different formats to experience it in. It will be the largest 70mm release since the 1992 flop, far and away. Why the gamble?
The big screen and that event sort of feeling that you get from a 70mm presentation, I think it's very important.
Nolan believes in the format, and the richer colors, warmer texture, and crisper image it provides. There was a time when it was used for nearly all big studio epics, including Lawrence of Arabia and 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it's expensive and the cameras are big and cumbersome, so it fell out of favor as filmmaking changed in the 70s. But after the recent successes of P.T. Anderson's The Master and Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, Nolan leveraged his box office pull to craft a war epic shot entirely in 70mm, an upgrade from his 2014 hit Interstellar that mixed 70mm and 35mm. So how do you decide which theater to go to? Good thing we put together this handy guide. First, let's talk about the best possible way.
Welcome to IMAX.
IMAX footage is shot on 70mm film, but is shot horizontally, whereas traditionally 70mm film is run through the camera vertically. This creates an aspect ratio of 1.43 to 1, delivering an image 8 times larger with almost 10 times the resolution of traditional 35mm films. In digital terms, this equates to around 18,000 lines of resolution per frame, or 18K. You need all of that resolution considering true IMAX screens are 76 feet high by 97 feet wide, covering a total of 1,061,568 square inches. If you can't make it to one of the IMAX 70mm screenings, the film is also being projected in the traditional 70mm film format. While this is a great alternative to 35mm and some of the lesser digital formats, there will be significant cropping of the image from the IMAX format. That's because traditionally shot 70mm film has a 2.20 to 1 aspect ratio, which requires trimming along the top and bottom of the frame, with a slight loss in resolution to a digital equivalent of around 12K. It's still a great image and worth the slightly higher ticket price. But what if there are no IMAX or traditional 70mm screenings near you? The last film option is 35mm, which is the universal standard for film. However, 35mm has an aspect ratio of 2.40 to 1, which means when projected, the image is slightly stretched to fill the screen, resulting in a subtle loss of fine details. This is still a great choice, as 35mm provides about 6K worth of resolution. On the digital front, your options are a bit less engaging. IMAX laser projection allows theaters to screen the film in the true IMAX ratio of 1.43 to 1, although the resolution has been significantly downgraded to around 4K. You also have the IMAX Xenon projector, which lets conventional theaters attempt to recreate what they call the IMAX experience by moving the audience closer to the screen and boosting audio quality. The result is an image with a 1.9 to 1 aspect ratio, which still requires the original IMAX 70mm image to be cropped, and a resolution around 2K, which is comparable to what you'll find in most home theaters. At the bottom of the digital spectrum is DCP, providing a lower quality 2K projection in a cropped 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio. The quality of these projections will be uniform because they're digital, but there's no question that you'll be missing part of the bigger picture, whether through cropping or a lower resolution. In Nolan's previous blockbusters, he's used IMAX cameras whenever possible to shoot larger action set pieces, and the results have been jaw-dropping each time. Unfortunately, because IMAX cameras are heavier, bulkier, and noisier, the majority of those films were shot on 35mm. That means a potentially jarring switch in aspect ratio between the action sequences and the more intimate moments in those films. With Dunkirk, the director shot 100% of the film on 70mm stock, with 75% of the final cut having been shot on IMAX cameras. While there are still some very occasional shifts in aspect ratio, it's not exactly easy to operate a hulking IMAX camera on a tiny boat. The entire film was designed to be experienced completely in the IMAX 70mm format. While most content is now coming straight through from the studios to our home televisions, filmmakers are working harder to justify rising ticket prices. Nolan is at the front lines of this fight, promising an immersive experience that goes beyond what you'll see at the standard multiplex. Bottom line, if you can see Dunkirk in the IMAX 70mm format, do it.